Download a sketch and put it into your canvas. This won't be a part of your final drawing, just a little helper. Lower the opacity of the sketch. Create a new layer and move it under the sketch. Select soft gray color. Tap on the lasso tool up here. Be sure you have set on freehand and chlorophyll option. Now just simply drag the pen over the cat sketch. Avoid inside the ears and the path that is over the cup. Tap on the dot to fill the shape. Select dry ink and soften the edges. You can already add some fur around. Create a new layer above. Select bright orange color. Drag the pen over the cup. Fix the edges. Create another new layer above for the top of the cup. Select a bright color. Draw outline using a medium airbrush. If you hold your pen on the screen, you get a smoother line. Then use the same color technique like before. Create a new layer below and draw the very top of the cup. We are drawing this in two separate layers. It makes drawing the shade later much easier. Now we fill the ears. Create a new layer and move it to the very bottom. Select nice orange and draw inside the ears. Now the front paw. Create a new layer below the sketch. Select the same gray and use the lasso tool. Fix the edges with dry ink. We have the base, now it's time for the shades and texture. Create a new layer about the cat. Select a darker color. One way of drawing a shade is the lasso tool. Drag the pen on the bottom parts of the cat, on the hidden path and behind the ear. tap on the dot. Using the smudge tool, unwind charcoal, blend it slightly. Don't forget to tap on the clipping mask. It keeps your drawing just inside the cat. Slightly lower the opacity. Now the front paw. Create a new layer above, tap on the clipping mask. Here try to use a medium airbrush to draw a shade. Smudge it slightly. Lower the opacity. We will add some tones and texture. Create a new layer below the cat shade. Select the bright color and draw over the cheeks. And on a tail. Also on this paw here. Select dark gray and draw some spots. Smudge it slightly. Do the same with the front paw. Now add shade into the ears. Create a new layer above, tap clipping mask. Select darker gray and draw the shade. Smudge it slightly. Also in the base here, draw some details using my fur brush on any brush you have for hair or fur. Draw along the edges, just tiny line with tiny fur. Now one more round of fur over the cat, in a new layer above the all cat's layers. Try to match the colors. Hold your finger on the screen to get the same color. Draw around the cat and also inside. Use different sizes of the brush. Play with the texture and those details. Take your time. Use also white for some details and fur too. Do this also on the front paw. Now some details on this paw. Use the color of the ears and draw toe beans. In the new layer above, using medium airbrush, draw some shade. Now the face. Create a new layer above, select the dark grey color. Draw a cute tiny nose. Select my foot brush again for the eyes. And also eyebrows. And you can add a little line under the nose. Turn off the sketch. Create a new layer above the nose, tap clipping mask. Select the white color and the noise brush. Draw nostrils and some highlights on the top. Smudge highlights slightly. Create another layer above and draw some tiny fur. This simply puts the nose inside the fur. Create a new layer above the tiny part of the top, tap clipping mask. Select a dark color and medium airbrush. Draw a shade here. Now on the second part of the top in a new layer. Draw this tiny shade on the edge. Now create a new layer above the cup, tap clipping mask. Draw a shade under the top. And over this side. Lower the opacity. And create another layer with clipping mask. Draw a stronger shade just under the top. In a new layer above, using a white and noise brush, draw some highlights on the sides. Lower the opacity. Draw one more round in a new layer. Smudge it slightly and draw once more. Create a new layer above the bottom part of the top. Tap on the N and select the Add option. Draw some highlights. Also on the second part of the top. Use different sizes of the brush. Sharp on the edge. Now the coffee. Create a new layer above the cup base. Write coffee or doodle some cute picture here, it's up to you. You can play with the position using the magic wand liquify and push option. Now add shade behind the paw. Create a new layer below. Select a dark color and medium airbrush. Lower the opacity. Fix the shape if you need. Create a new layer below the cup. Draw a gentle shade. Lower the opacity. Add some fur on the toe beans like we did with the nose, using fur brush. Time for one more round of the fur and details around the cat. Stay in the same fur layer. Dive in, this is the final stage. Make your cat fluffy or shaggy, it's up to you. Also on the front paw. And in a new layer on the very top, draw whiskers. Perfect, now some background. Match all layers of your cat. Check out the post for some tips. Using the arrow tool and uniform option, fix the overall size and placement. Create a new layer and move it under the cat. Select the color you want for the background and wine charcoal. Try also different brush for the background if you want more texture or more tones or colors. Create a new layer under the cat for shade. Draw a sharp shade just under the cup. In a new layer, draw a more loose shade. Fix it with an eraser. Well done. Now some special effect. Turn background off. Create a new layer above. Drag here some dark color. I want to brighten the cat, tapping on the magic wand and the very first option. Here you can play with the colors, hue, brightness and so on. If you are happy with your cat, duplicate the layer. Using arrow tool, flip it. Move it lower. Now tap on the freeform option. Hold your pen on the dot for a while and then change the shape, flatten it. Move with layer under the sheet. Lower the opacity and fix the placement if needed. Erase the bottom part a bit. Now another effect. Turn off the entire backgrounds. Create a new layer below the cat. Select white and hard airbrush. Draw any shape you want, be sure there aren't any gaps in the outline. Drag color inside. You can turn background on and use any color you want. Now duplicate the sticker layer. Tap on the bottom layer and with magic wand lower the brightness. Then move it a bit lower. Fix brightness if needed. Maybe also lower the opacity. You can also add a bit shade behind the cat in a new layer. Select medium airbrush. Fix it with an eraser. And don't forget to put shade also under the tail. Well done! Feel free to share your creation and tag me so I can see your drawing. See you next time!